Hi, this is Saintus, welcome back to Forge of Empires, and today we're going to be looking at the top 10 players in this game in early April of 2021. And so this is the top 10 itself. And first there are a few things that you can notice right away, which is that there is no longer a Polish or Portuguese player in the top 10, and we have a player in 10th place from Romania. The one player from international servers, it's still the top one. However, there are now 5 American players whilst there's only one player from France, and we still have the 2 players from Greece. Now, if you look into the statistics, this is where we can find some really important facts that are related with the previous video about the top 10, because on that video before, I had made an assumption here that, taking into consideration some statistics or some values, that they would have to be fighting this many battles a day, and in my opinion that just sounded ridiculous, way too many battles. And so it looks suspicious as if they were cheating in the game. However, that's not really the case, which is something that I'm very happy with. This is because instead of just making assumptions, I obviously just looked into the battles that each player had fought till today and had only fought until I think it was in January when I made the previous top 10. And that's why we end up with these values right over here in the right, which is that instead of fighting around, I don't know, 1,000 battles a day, which was already crazy, there are actually many players that fought more than 4,000 battles. And this is on average because when I looked into it, there were some players that had fought more than 10,000 battles a day. Not only that, when I collected this data, this was the day before Guild Battlegrounds was opened, so there wasn't really that much place to fight with. And yet there were many players from this list and more that had fought more than 7,000 battles. Now I'm really thankful for FO Elite's video, which addresses this section of this game that is obviously responsible for these meta battles every day, which is GVG. Simply put, in a day the maximum you can fight with the kill expedition is around 60, with your neighborhoods around 80. However, if you scale battlegrounds, a player at the maximum that can fight 100 of attrition ends in the top guild that coordinates with other guilds in order to swap multiple times a day with siege camps or the buildings in guild battlegrounds. In that case, you'll be able to fight a few hundred battles a day, like 300, 400, it depends. But the other thousands that are left, they all just come from GVG. And he did address the problem of cheating and how indie games has tried to deal with that. I'm not really going to talk about it here, but I'm really happy that whilst this is a bit of a controversial issue, the way how indie games manages GVG and how it only works on the computer, and that it looks way more confusing than everything else. But I'm just happy to know that despite these values, it is legit. They have not really cheated. It doesn't look like they've been cheating in this game. But there was one thing that I noticed when I looked into the graphs of their points in battles, which is that starting around in October or November, all the way up until now, there were many players that had just exploded in battles. It feels like they woke up at a certain point of the year and started fighting thousands of battles a day. And those represent about half or more of the players that you see in here in the top 10. That is also why they've earned more than 1 billion points in those 3 months. And if I had to make any predictions, I would predict the American player to eventually have more points than the English one. And for example, for the player here from France, which has earned the least amount of points, for it to just fall off the top 10 eventually. And since the number of players earning more than 10 million points every day on average has significantly increased, we can expect this just to get more intense. But that is something we'll really know next time I do this, which will be in September. So I'll be making this 3 times a year. One in April, another one in September, and the third one by late December. But anyway, that's all I have for you regarding the top 10 players in Forge of Empires. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time.